What I can say is that I learned Gary has an excellent reputation around town. The different vendors I worked with flooring and different things, would ask me who was building my new home, and I would say Gary with Cornerstone Specialties, and they would say, oh, well, you've got a good builder. He builds a quality home.
One of the finer aspects of the construction is that, again, the attention to the small details is so high, and you just don't see that with other builders.
You know, when it came to building the house, you know, we walked through the house with Gary a number of different times to make sure things were the way we wanted them to see, or what we wanted them to be, and when we had concerns or questions that arose, Gary was good about addressing those and keeping us updated throughout the whole process.
If there is a right way to do it, Gary will do it the right way, not necessarily the cheaper way or the easier way, unless it is the right way.
Very hands-on throughout the whole building process, keeping us involved in all the decisions that need to happen, not only before but during the process, and making sure that we had ample time to go about making those decisions that came up along the way with the different features and the details. And it was a very positive experience throughout the process, as well as the follow-up and making sure that, you know, when we were in the house, some time had passed, that, you know, everything was the way that we wanted it to be.
The construction process for me was a little different because I lived 70 miles away from where my house was going up. So we communicated a lot by text messaging and phone calls. It was a very rare day when we didn't talk or text back and forth, and it worked out just fine. He would call, Gary would call me and give me choices of this or that, and I'd say, okay, what's the pros or cons? And he'd say, well, if we do it this way, such and such, if we do it that way. And we made a lot of decisions over the phone, and I would be down here at the site maybe once, rarely twice a week, and everything was going along swimmingly, and I was always very pleased, and it worked out great, even being that far away.
Again, we were out of town during the entire construction, so you would just assume there's things that may have gone wrong that you just wouldn't have been able to see or deal with, and there wasn't a single thing that we would say was missing or different or anything out of the ordinary with this construction. But what was interesting about that is that the communication with Gary was always very good, so we never at all felt worried about the entire process.
When I first talked to Gary about the home and found out about the high energy factor, energy efficiency factor with the home, I wasn't necessarily looking at that as the layout of the home, but as I got into it more and found out about the high efficiency furnace, and especially about the insulated concrete forms for the basement, I got more and more excited about it. And then something that Gary does that I don't think other construction companies do, he has an independent energy assessor come in and check the home over. And on an energy scale, the HERS scale, I believe they call it, standard new home rates 100, and this independent evaluator has my home at 52. Now, I am very pleased with that. I mean, it saves me money on heating, on cooling, and I couldn't be happier.
Sure, I mean, it was definitely that was one of the major considerations and one of the major factors that led us to Cornerstone Specialties and working with Gary. We were very happy with the process, and it was definitely a consideration with why we chose Cornerstone and why we wanted to work with Gary in the process. You know, we feel that our energy bills in the summer as well as the winter have been very cost effective, and you know, it justified the cost of the house. I mean, we felt the whole building experience was very cost effective, but even more so now that we've been in the house for a couple years and we can see what our energy bills have been. They've been very cost effective, and we're very pleased about making the initial investment up front for the very reasonable bills after the fact.
The energy efficiency is honestly a very big deal in comparison to the price of the home in the long run. I don't think we felt like we paid more to get the energy efficiency at the beginning, and it saves us easily a third to a half what the bills were in our former home that was in a warmer climate than this.
I would absolutely build another home with Gary at Cornerstone Specialties. He made the process so much easier for me. Building a new home is stressful enough with all of the decision making, but he was with me every step of the way, helped me make so many decisions, and I threw a lot at Gary after we had already started building the home.
And the number one reason that we'd recommend him is just because of how hands-on Cornerstone Specialties was throughout the whole process. It's very difficult to get a builder that can work with you and be that hands-on throughout the whole process, before, during, and after.
There's a specific advantage to going with a builder like Gary in a climate like this, and that's that Gary has a very high degree of attention to the insulation in the home, and that comes in at a very beginning stage. The home is designed around the insulation.
There were just little different things. I said, can we rearrange this? Can you fit a media closet in there somewhere? And I would just throw all of these things at him. I said, when I move in, I really like poured concrete curbing around for landscaping, and I want the sod done right away. And he said, I have people. He said, I'll hook you up. And man, everything practically was done. And there are many features that are add-ons in other homes that are just standard in a Cornerstone Specialty home.
But overall, you know, we're happy with everything. We would do everything, the layout, everything exactly the same.
I would not hesitate to build another house with Cornerstone Specialties, and I would recommend them to anybody else I knew that was going to be building a house.